Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to the garden for another update. Man, we have got a lot of stuff that has changed, so I guess let's get right on into this. Hopefully by this time you have seen my other dahlia video already about the process of planting the dahlias into the garden. In just looking around, you'll see that we have really crammed these dahlias into the garden. Overall, I think I have just over 100 dahlias. I did pull a few of them because a few of them did look a little bit virused. So there is a little bit of gaps in spacing in these dahlia plants. But for the most part, I have about 4 rows of just a lot of plants. When these plants grow larger, obviously, this is going to be very difficult to maintain. I still have to use a trellis, install a trellis. I am going to be using the Florida weave technique. If you grow tomato plants, you are probably familiar with the Florida weave of trellising, but I'm going to give it a try with my dahlias, and hopefully everything will work well with that. Looking around, since I've planted these have already gained quite a bit of size, so I am extremely optimistic and hopeful. We have some really pretty varieties mixed in here. We have some Wizard of Oz and Cafe au Lait, and a few harder to find ones like Peaches and Cream, which luckily I bought that one last year and saved it because it was almost impossible to get. I tried to buy another one. It was almost impossible to get my hands on Peaches and Cream again. I suppose rightfully so, because when I grew it last year, it was absolutely gorgeous. So, I can't complain about that. Also, a lot of these, I'm still working on pinching these. I need to make sure they're all pinched back so you can get them as many flowers as possible. Some of them are already even sending up flower stalks, which only makes sense because we did put these in trays back at the end of March. So they have been growing and have been in trays for quite some time. So it's not really a surprise that a lot of them are trying to bloom already. I might go ahead and just pinch out a lot of those flowers just so they can focus on foliage growth right now, since it did take me so long to get them into the ground. Looking around at the other changes in the garden, the Scabiosa are still here. They're still blooming. Of all the hardy annual flowers, the Scabiosa are usually the ones that are the last to bloom, the ones that came from the hoop house. They also do well from a spring planting. This is a fall planting. You can really do both here in my zone, and they do exceptionally well. But finally, we're starting to get a few other colors other than white in this mix. Hopefully next year we can pick up a mixed packet that has a little bit more variety in it. Who knows? Overall, these are super cute, though. I just love the overall shape of these and how cute they look in arrangements and everything. Seems like the bumblebees really love them too. It's hard to get in here sometimes because there's so many bumblebees enjoying these. Looking around, I meant to show you guys the Clarkia as in bloom. It started to bloom, the Godestia Clarkia. This is the Grace Salmon Godestia. The Grace variety is a little bit more expensive, but these were actually grown from winter sowing in the spring. I started these very early, and then I transplanted them into the garden as soon as the soil could be worked. It was about April 1st, if I had to guess. And we've got blooms. These things are actually nice and tall and healthy looking, and this is the first time I've actually ever been successful, in a good way. I've grown them before, but with the Clarkia Godestia, Farewell to Spring, I think is another common name for it. So hopefully I will have a video with more in-depth on this soon. But taking a look at these, the peachy salmon colored tones are so gorgeous. I think satin flower is another common name for this. You can see why. The petals just have this beautiful kind of satiny sheen to them. Very, very pretty. I can't wait to use some of these in flower arrangements. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. They do seem to be having a little bit of trouble with the rain though. A lot of our transplants have gotten considerably bigger since the last time we saw them, and we've completely finished getting the zinnias into the ground. Hooray! I'm so happy. We have a lot of zinnias this year. We have almost every color from the Ben Aries Giant series. The purple and the wine, when I transplanted them, they had a very difficult time with transplant shock. I'm not sure if they're going to pull through. Otherwise, though, we have, you know, the whites and the yellows and the peaches. I think the coral color or the carmine rose also had a little bit of difficulty, but hopefully those will show up. We also have the golden hour zinnia from Floret, as well as the unicorn mix from Floret. We have cupcake pastel shades Scabiosa flowered zinnias, and we have some more kind of cheaper generic ones like the Eldorado salmon zinnia and the envy salmon, or not envy salmon, the envy green, which I picked up from M.I. Gardner when they were on sale way back in like January. Overall, I think it's going to be really interesting to be able to compare the different shades of zinnias, the, you know, quote unquote generic types with the Benary's giants, which do cost quite a bit more money. I'm fairly certain I know the outcome already, but it is interesting to compare the flower shapes just so we can know what to expect with what we grow and everything like that. Looking around elsewhere in the garden, we have the quinoa is doing okay. It's just a small little patch. Not really much to report on that, but waiting for that to color up so we can use it in flower arrangements. Also, our chrysanthemums are getting tall. I'm going to have to start staking these chrysanthemums soon. I'm just going to be using a horizontal trellis netting. I have been pinching them and they are starting to branch, which is good. Everything's going as expected. There, we also have our Sahara rudbeckias. I've been trying to keep this bed weed free, doing a decent job at it. Not really the best, but really with my work schedule, I only have about 1 day a week that I can work in the garden, so I do try to get as much done as possible. It looks like some of these plants have started to elongate, and they're thinking about maybe starting bloom soon. The same with the azuratum. They're doing really well. This is the timeless mix. This is supposed to be a mix of blue, red, and white flowers, different tones of azuratum. So far, we only have this kind of reddish color that is showing up, but they are starting to send up blooms. I didn't pinch these or anything just because I know from experience that these will continue to get bushier and bushier and reward us with tons of flowers. I really love azuratum for cut flowers. Also in this same row, we have our pastel shade status. Those pastel shades status, most of them are a kind of really light lavender color. There are some darker purples in there as well. These are shooting up so nice. Each plant has about 5 to 8 stems in them. The stem length is nice and tall. I always love to grow these just because I feel like they're so beautiful, and the flowers are so unique. They're shaped differently than any other flower that I've seen. As well, they're just papery and just pretty cool. Also, I wanted to show you guys the yarrow, our summer berries yarrow that we planted a year and a half ago now. It is blooming. It's just lovely tones of this peach pastel kind of red colors. Very, very beautiful. Really can't wait to use those in cut flower arrangements as well. This is one of the very few perennial flowers that I have in the garden. So that's really about it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you're new here and you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to hit the little bell icon so you get notifications, all that stuff. It sounds silly, but it really does help kind of grow our little gardening community here. As always, feel free to leave a comment. Always love to hear from you guys, feedback. You know, have you grown this before? I always do try to answer those comments within about a week. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer just because I do get so busy with work, but I do really, really appreciate everyone who watches these videos so much. Be sure to share it with a friend. Just spread the word, I guess. If you'd like to support the channel, you can go ahead and check our links down in the description below. I am on Patreon. I always appreciate when people use Patreon. It really does help significantly, especially, you know, in terms of editing and running the blog and whatnot. We do have blog posts for almost every video that you see here. There are probably more detailed blog posts and information on my website, which you can find down there. Also, we have a soap shop and wax melt shop, handmade soap. If you want to support us in that way, you can buy one of our handmade soaps, and I will be more than happy to send you a soap. There are soap subscription boxes where you can get a bar of soap every single month, or you can just order one time, try it out, see if you like it. Either way, I am so thankful. I hope that you are having such an incredible day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.